Okay, great. So related to that, as we look at the EU MDR and its impact on the industry and on an individual company, how would you recommend educating or training your workforce on those changes? And what do they need to know that's going to impact them and impact the company?
That's a big question. That's a lot, right? Training is a lot. And I think that, again, back to your quality system, having a good training procedure where you're kind of making sure that you're disseminating the right information to the right people at the right time, that's a requirement, right? To make sure that they're trained for the tests that they're required to do. And so there's a lot of different options, right? So there's a lot of materials just out there on the web that are free that, we'll actually put some links in, I think, in our follow-up documentation here, but that are great resources for, really kind of learning about this. But then when you think about, okay, now you've kind of got a responsible person in your organization that's looking at this. How do we train the rest of the team in formalizing that piece? That needs to be customized to what you're producing, right? The level of risk of your product, the complexity, the actual scope of what you're doing within your organization. All of those things need to be kind of determined on a case-by-case basis to make sure that the right individuals are getting trained at the right times. So lots of resources out there and available, and then kind of working with the right professionals if you do have questions. So, if you do have questions about kind of strategy or approach or all of those things, having the right partners stand with you through the process is so important. And hopefully they can kind of point you in the right direction because, yeah, training is going to be important here too.
Yeah, and I think just to the point, I mean, you have a lot of you have the BSI that puts out a whole number of webinars, and there's a whole, like it was mentioned, there's a whole lot of free information to govern various aspects of MDR that have been covered. Going back to 2017 when this was published, since that time, there's just been a lot of information that has been generated that's been updated over time, but there's a lot of information that is out there to get at least a basic understanding, and then just around the various elements going into dealing with each of the annexes and the Annex 1 or GPSR and Annex 2 for the technical file, and as well as all the various elements there within post-market surveillance to clinical evaluation and so forth. There's a lot of information that is out there to help get you at least familiar with what are the requirements, the expectations out there, and for the product that you're working on.
Yeah, and to that point, there's more and more guidance that's being released every day, right? And so that's kind of like where you can kind of get that official guidance, where you can go to kind of authorities within industry like BSI, who has, honestly, they have fantastic tools that they put out there, so many. So yeah, definitely trying to seek out that information proactively, and also reading the regulation. So like I'm sometimes surprised at the number of companies that we come across that haven't actually read the actual regulation. That's a start too, right? You got to kind of go in and know what you need to seek out information for compliance on.